Can you tell us about that venture and how you started it with your brother? What initially inspired this journey to leave Goldman Sachs and then go into being an entrepreneur yourself?
My brother and I were both investment bankers at Goldman Sachs. I was on the deal team that took KKR, the famous private equity firm, public. It was one of the first at the time to go public. I was very much on a path of leaving Goldman, and I originally took a job here in LA at Oaktree Capital, the big private equity firm. My brother conversely worked in consumer products at Goldman and was on the deal team for a 30-year-old person that was about to IPO a billion-dollar company. Today, it seems like every 30-year-old's about to IPO a billion-dollar company. That was not the case 15, 16 years ago. That 30-year-old was a gentleman named Kevin Plank, and his company was obviously Under Armour. And so my brother really got inspired by him and said, hey, I want to leave Goldman and I want to go start a business. We had no previous experience in liquor. My brother had worked on the largest transaction in the space. And so, can you imagine my dad's shock when my brother called him and said, we're both leaving Goldman. In fact, Carter's not going to show up at Oaktree and we're going to go launch a company. Today, that's an obvious path. But 15, 16 years ago, people thought we were crazy or they just felt really bad for us. Like we threw away everything to go start a company. In our case, obviously, we built up Vive over a decade and successfully sold it. It was less about the experience in the alcohol industry, but really for us, it was our business school, right? We started by delivering it out of the back of our car. By the time we had sold it, it was in every Nobu and Walmart and TGI Fridays and Ruby Tuesday and Disney and cruise ships and Virgin America. And so, like so many startup journeys, we just had to figure things out as we went, right? And I think that's what then turned us into great investors is we've been in their shoes, right? We went from the back of the car to, running a big business. And so, it was obvious to us after we sold that business that we wanted to then build a model that allowed us to invest in great companies, but take a different approach with kind of this hands-on model. So it was a great experience. And I think it was kind of so much of one's career is I always talk about how it's a dominoes, right? It's one domino falls and trying to play out the game of dominoes. For us, it was the perfect setup to be the type of investors we are today.